Hello everyone and welcome back to another video by Extraordinary. And I think from previous videos you can understand why I named the channel that way. Not because I'm pompous, but because I'm well-grounded. Anyways, about today's video, as you could guess from the title, it's about how I feel as a person who's dropped out from his undergrads and is working in an environment filled with people with degrees in the Big Four. Now, how did I land a job really in the Big Four? I landed a job in the Big Four through a friend who was with me in class, and that friend got admitted in the Big Four. It's not really important what company because, I don't think it'll provide any added value if I say where I actually work. But the point is that my friend from class found a job in one of the Big Four and he handed in my resume. I used to work in security before and I wanted to do the crossover jump from, those pre-degree jobs to more professional work. So I really made that transition, thankfully because of my friend who's no longer in the company, but the person who he handed my resume to is now my boss. So let's go through a couple of points that I wanted to bring up of how it feels like to work in the Big Four as a university dropout. First thing on the menu is the intimidation factor. I feel like it's quite intimidating for a guy with no degree to be working around people who are supposedly educated in quotations. So I'm working in a consulting type role and there's different kinds of people in my environment. I would guess that if there's anybody from the Big Four watching this, they would agree. Say you study economics, you would find yourself surrounded by lawyers and accountants and vice versa. If you were one of the others, and you would find the latter. So it's quite interesting of an environment having so many different people, new and veterans, working around each other, helping each other. That's kind of very interesting. A wide and diverse variety of people and career paths. So in your floor alone, and floors are generally, at least in my location, segregated by type of service or sector. So in each floor you'd find different roles of people and different segments within that sector. And yeah, so the intimidation factor is quite real for me as I have dropped out of my degree. So it's kind of, you become like, you feel like you might be incompetent among those people. But I must know 2 points that are very important for anyone who has the same fear as me or shares the same feelings as me. Not everyone is competent. Even if people have their degree, that does not necessarily make them smarter than you. That's A. And B, it doesn't mean they are faster than you when it comes to learning the job. It does not necessarily mean you're less better than them. Just because somebody finished their degree doesn't make them better than you, even if you don't have a degree. In terms of personal experience, I've had people with degrees around me being fired. And I've had people with degrees around me earning less bonuses than me because I have outshone them, which is quite, how would you say, self-praising, but it's only to console people who might feel like that they're less better than their graduated peers. If you're watching this video and you're interested in general ideas of how it feels like to be in the Big Four, well, I might not be the best video out there, but I could tell you some of my findings were interesting. I found out that salaries are kind of different based on your location in the same company if you're in a different geographical location. Meaning that if you were in the US, you would be earning a said salary. And if you were anywhere else but the US, doing the same role in the same seniority level, you might be earning a little bit different because different locations pay differently. That's about the salaries. So again, it's based on geographical location. Like the US market is very booming, and I'm sure the equivalent role, say in Georgia, might not be the same pay for the same role and same seniority. And again, like I mentioned already 5 times, seniority is also a factor in your pay. Bonuses and raises, I have to say from my personal experiences, are very biased. Biased, I mean, this also applies to your bosses, by the way, as well, not only just the bottom feeders. I don't mean to say that those at the bottom suffer from bias only. It's also your bosses, be it senior managers or partners. Bonuses are handed out based on who the partner deems to be most deserving. If it's due to character, if it's due to hard work, if it's due to workload, it can vary. But there is bias, and I feel like it's very common even outside of the Big Four if you go anywhere else. Because the one who determines the size of your bonus, if you'd even get one, is your boss. And, you know, not everything is objective. One of the things I wrote, I don't even know why I wrote this here, but one of the things I wrote, and it stands out to me as somebody who, because I didn't finish my degree, you know, if you go out with your colleagues for beer or coffee, the last thing you'd be expecting to talk about, because you're clearly, as a dropout, not in love with your profession. Or you could be, but you're not looking to talk about work as soon as you go out for beer, because you're looking to relax. And you must have dropped out for several reasons. Maybe you dropped out because it was maybe economically you couldn't afford it, or maybe because you couldn't take the mental stress of maybe trying to work as well as study to pay for those studies. So the mental exhaustion and whatever you've experienced was so much that you were so tired of it. So the last thing I'd expect you to do if you go out for a beer with your work buddies is talk about work stuff, because I'm sure you've had quite enough of that. And so bear in mind that your work colleagues, all those accountants and lawyers, are gonna love talking about the grapevine, and you know, you'd probably be bored of that work talk. It's quite commonplace. But fear not, there are good people to find in the Big Four, and I'm talking to you dropouts. In general, of course, there's good people everywhere. A bit of pros and cons about working in the Big Four. I'd say pros would be, for me specifically, I like learning. There's so much to learn about your field, about other people's fields. And people are generally really okay, and there's also like mishmash of like certain projects can involve various teams, so you'd be able to communicate with other players in different teams and learn about what they're doing, and they can learn about what you're doing, and each one is advising each other. So that's amazing. There's a lot to learn in your field as well as in other people's playgrounds. The people are awesome. The human factor at work is amazing. There are so many great people. I met many new best friends, many amazing colleagues. The people is the reason why I enjoy work so much. I love the people at work. They're amazing. Of course, there are a few that I despise with all of my soul, but for the most part, I love the people. The people are great. I just love it. There's a lot of room to grow both vertically and horizontally, and by that I mean vertically is within the company. So it works like the seniority levels works like we start at S1, it goes to S2, S3, S4, S5, S6, and the same goes from M, which is manager. S stands for senior, by the way. So S1 to S6, M1, which is manager, manager 1 to manager 6, and from there you go to senior manager. I think there are senior manager levels as well, if I'm not mistaken. And after S, senior manager, SM, whatever the highest rate, I think 6 it should be. After that, it's executive director or partner. So that would be rising up vertically. And horizontally, what I mean by room to grow horizontally is you can acquire great skills in your company, and then you can leverage that in the next place, be it in a venture capital, be it in an investment bank, be it in a startup company. But yeah, there is always room to grow both vertically and horizontally. Another pro I like, and this is the last pro I wrote because I didn't put much effort into this video, is the fact that people seem to care a lot about character. People seem to care a lot about character. Your boss, if your character is one that is vibrant, one that is positive, one that is about, you could also be not positive all the time, but if you are funny, if you have the desire to learn, if you seem to care about others, then good things will come your way. Good things could be bonuses. Good things could be people will help you and not expect perfection of you. Good things could be support and love from peers who become friends. And there's no bounds to the care people might want to give you. Some of the cons about working in the Big Four, also this is completely not related to being a dropout, but still something that it's like this video is just touching up on working in the Big Four and being a dropout in general. The cons would be that the turnover rate is very high in the Big Four, and I don't think that's a secret. I think that the type of work in the Big Four suits very few people. I think this whole idea of time management and managing a client and a book of business and servitude to clients is also common in other types of careers, in other workplaces. But again, there are a diverse type of jobs out there. Some jobs entail working on data and are not client-facing. Some jobs are more creative or content writing. So when it comes to this kind of work, where there's trying to manage your time while working simultaneously on some projects, and client-facing and really servitude, really managing different projects all at the same time, it doesn't suit everyone. You can also learn how to handle it, but it is something to say that it suits a very specific kind of person. Not everyone in the world wants to deal with this kind of challenges. And I think that's all the cons that I wrote. So basically this is it. This is everything that I actually prepared for this video. I don't think, I've seen a couple of videos out there about being, how it feels like to work in the Big Four, some tips about the Big Four, how to get into them, and so forth and so forth. But this video is not really about that. This video is, I did give some pros and cons about the Big Four, but essentially this is about my feeling as a university dropout in the Big Four. So if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comment section right below. And you're welcome to subscribe. This channel is just about me sharing about my life, nothing very specific. And until the next time.